Hey there, good morning. I'm John. Today is Wednesday, November 19th, 2025, and this is my regular ritual stand-up, my morning vlog, where I start each day sharing with you the things I've been doing next, and how those things are going. So I'm trying to make content creation indefinitely sustainable. Let's rewind to yesterday. I'm not in the best mood. I had a little bit of a rough day yesterday, and we're going to talk about it, but it impacted. You know, when you're doing something creative like this, as anybody else who can can tell you, the creative aspect can be thwarted if you have other things on your mind that are distracting you. You can't, I'm sure you can't write or compose or, whatever your creative art is, paint, sculpt, whatever, if your mind is elsewhere and other things are if you're in a funk, then it's hard to do those things. That's where I ended up yesterday. Started out good enough. It was we did the podcast edit in the morning. It was a rewind, so it was very brief. It took about an hour. Went out and grabbed a quick lunch, came back with the intent of getting busy as soon as I got back. Instead, a series of aggravating phone calls that I had stuff to deal with, and it just. Now I'm like, now I need to get going. So I just lost energy. I lost motivation yesterday. My intent was to get a video out yesterday by the end of the day, and I didn't. So when those things hit me, like it did yesterday, I try to do as much invisible work as is possible, by which I mean work that doesn't show up in a podcast feed or on YouTube or in social media, but it's work that needs to be done for those things to eventually happen. And most of those things can be done just sitting in my recliner, clicking around with the mouse, getting things done. So I ended up, as the day started to slip away from me and more things started to compound my frustration, I did a laundry list of, I jotted some stuff down here. I did multiple graphics for some upcoming videos. I did handle the podcast publishing for the episode we had just done in the morning. I did some writing for the Friday videos. I made some shorts late in the afternoon. A lot of background stuff. I don't like that I didn't get something accomplished and published, but I feel like I made the best with what I was able to accomplish in the headspace that I was in. So it happens. End of the day, of course, yesterday George was live on YouTube with Keys of Fury. Shared that with everyone. It seemed to go very, very well. I was in and out. I watched. He had a good time. Went through a lot of levels. Did a lot of typing. He was. I was giving him a hard time because he was looking at his fingers typing sometimes. So, which I do too sometimes, especially with numbers. Numbers get me. Before we talk about so the stats have been taking a little bit of a dip. So it's time for me to test my mettle and see how I feel about these new numbers, because we're not like in the dump or anything, but we've had a couple of days on the downside of views, and so we're gonna continue to keep an eye on it and try to push through. Let me bring up my chart here, and with these new numbers, I'd ideally like to be at or above this midpoint, which represents 20,000 views and 200 subscribers average over the last 7 days. Top left, you have 28-day views. Top right, you have 28-day subscribers. And you can see a little dip in views, although a tick up in subscribers. 24.9 thousand views, 249 subscribers. Actually line up, which is funny. They're both on the same, with a factor of 10. And due to that, I was surprised. Yesterday we're at 133,750, and I didn't think we were going to hit the next milestone within a couple of days yet, but we did. Just this morning, 134,000. And another, a dozen or 15, 20 out on the tail end of that. We just crossed over this morning, since I woke up, maybe. We just crossed over. So there we are. It's good news. I'll talk more about in a second, the most frustrating thing yesterday. But today, I'm going to try to pick up the pieces. I'm still feeling a little bit of a funk, but this morning, of course, is Wednesday, so George's Bit by Bit news will drop in the morning, and I have all day to do production. So I'm going to start my production today by trying to accomplish the video that I wanted to do yesterday to get it done and ready to publish in the morning. It's my target. It's what I'd like to get done. And if I get that done and I'm able to push through that, I'll probably get it, release it to members early this evening. That's my primary focus. And then I'll try to do some writing for Friday and Saturday. I'm realizing that, at this point, really, I have like 4 videos I want to do finally for this week in 3 days, and it's probably unmanageable. So what I'm going to end up doing, I think, is I'm going to take one of the 2 videos I have slated for Friday and move one to Saturday morning. So that way I have a day to produce each one, and I'm not overpressured, but especially because of my lack of momentum and energy, I think that's probably prudent. So I'm going to do them a slide one to Saturday morning. Still produce them in the same style, in the same pacing, but get them one out one day, one out the next day. So let's hope that works out. Yeah, and that's most of it. So I'll share with you just the biggest frustration is, here at the end of the year, and you'll remember, I don't know, that's been over a year ago now that I was in the hospital, and at that time I was uninsured. I had not been insured since I'd lost my job, and so I quickly got insured, and I have been ever since. And so it was time to renew your insurance here at the end of the year, and man, with all the stuff that's going on politically and with policy changes and everything, the sticker shock was that I went to renew my insurance to see what the change was with the new policies, and it had gone up by a factor of 10. 10. Yeah. We're talking like nearly. Yeah, the initial estimate was nearly $1,000 a month for the same coverage that I have this year to get it next year. I can't do that, right? So I started calling around and getting involved with stuff, and like, something I change. This is going to impact millions and millions and millions of people like me who, either who don't have an employer to subsidize their insurance themselves, or maybe they don't have an employer that offers insurance. And in my case, I have an employer, my company, that does not offer insurance, right? So I have to self-insure. And so, I've been shopping around, but so the impact on this for me is that, it's so crushing to be clawing and climbing and working your way to make an extra $10, $20, $30, $50 a month to then be hit by, my budget has been just crushed. I'm like, well, for the last, I've shared this a few places. I'll mention, things are going really well with GenXGrownUp and content creation lately, in that I have not had to pull from savings for the last, I don't know, maybe 6 or 8 months, which is, for regular. Now, I've dipped in savings, like we had to get a dishwasher, emergency things, but not for daily. And now I'm like, and that was extending the hell out of the runway. And now I'm like, oh no, now I have just to be insured so I don't have, another hospital stay that is a catastrophic financial impact. That's a huge. So as you can imagine, just the thought that insurance is going up, that is not the thing that is beating on my mind. It's that, this insurance is going to go up next year. How is that going to impact my viability for this project? How is it going to impact my sustainability? The runway is going to get impacted again. Some meteors are coming in, punching holes in the runway that I thought was pretty smooth right now for the foreseeable future. And, we're having a little growth, but I don't know that growth is at the speed to keep up with this kind of unexpected garbage. So that's why I was demotivated yesterday, and still a little funked today, but persevere. This project is something that I desperately want to do, and I'm gonna keep doing it until they just they pry it out of my cold broke hands, I guess. So here we are. Continue to do what we can do, and I'm sure we won't talk more about this very often, but man, very often I kind of superficially tell you what's going on, and sometimes there's not enough context to be superficial. I kind of got to dive deep a little bit and share stuff like this. And it's not to bum you out. It's not to bum me out, but it's the kind of thing that this vlog could theoretically be a living document for somebody trying to do this in the future, and to come across a vlog episode like this, it's like everything was going great and got sideswiped by insurance. That's the surprise thing that, it can happen. And this is not a morose thing. This is not like, oh, woe is me. This is like, man, I gotta keep working hard if I'm gonna, continue, because that's a hell of an impact. So Yeah, I'm going to stop rambling about that and go try to accomplish something that makes me feel better about my situation rather than just wallow in my frustration about the situation. So, to that end, I'm going to thank you, of course, for popping in to check out today's vlog. If in fact you did, if you're here every day, you're a wonderful bleep. I appreciate and love you so much for being here. Thank you. I hope you have a great hump day this Wednesday. Don't forget to do something good for yourself. That's most important. And I will talk to you again next day. Bye-bye.